Hi guys, Jessica here from the Healing Hands Duo. I do apologize. I know it's been 2 weeks since I posted my last video. It's just that Kevin and I, like I've said before, Kevin and I are so busy, and it is basically the starting out here of the summer, so we've been really busy outside and whatnot. Anyway, all excuses aside, I did want to just touch base with you guys really quickly today. Again, I don't have anything that is really put together. I actually created this next little video that you're going to see, and it's actually not little. I don't know why I even said that. It's not a little video. I actually produced this documentary style video on vaccinations probably about 2 years ago. I wrote it up, and I think I filmed it over a little bit over a year ago now. I can't remember correctly, but I do actually, I'd gone back and forth on whether to release this for a very long time, just because vaccinations and the whole anti-vax movement is kind of a big thing, and it's a very touchy subject for a lot of people. It's not that Kevin and I don't believe in vaccinations. It's the fact that a lot of vaccinations haven't been proven to be, in some cases, even effective or safe in a lot of instances. And the thing is with producers of vaccinations, a lot of the times, like I'd said before, they're not effective. Like, I've actually gotten the MMR like 2 to 3 times now, because every time I was tested for mumps, measles, and rubella, for some reason my body hadn't taken to the measles. So it just goes to show you. And I actually had my doctor admit that in a lot of cases people are getting vaccinations and the strains that are in the vaccine are unfortunately ineffective. So that's another thing I've heard quite often with the flu vaccination. Anyway, I wanted to put this out there because I think a lot of people think that and I absolutely hate to use jargon and terminology and anti-vaxxer and all that, because I think a lot of these terms were coined off by like things like the CDC and perhaps other doctors, or a lot of smaller minded people who haven't really taken the time to research vaccinations. And I hate to use those terms because they were made up. These are just made up terms by them. So when I do hear anti-vaxxer, it really, I'm not going to lie, it really pisses me off. So with that said, I do want to show, I thought I would go ahead and I would show this video. Again, I want to make note of the fact, and I want to make this very clear, that all of the information that is in this video was information that I had gathered over probably the last maybe 12 years. I haven't just jumped on this bandwagon of not vaccinating myself just recently. I stopped vaccinating, or my mother actually stopped vaccinating us kids when we were probably in elementary school. Actually, my mother never really had a strong, a strong stance on them. She just never really believed that they worked or did anything. So she actually decided to stop vaccinating us. I think it was like grade 6 or 7. And unfortunately, when I got suspended from school for a day or two, she did have to take me over to the doctor to get my my vaccination schedule updated. At the time, she just didn't know any better, and so we did get them. But after that, I think the last vaccination I probably received in that instance was probably back in grade 8. And then what ended up happening was throughout, and again, for all of you that don't know, this grade 8 was a very long time for me. I'm almost 40 years old. I'm already 37. And so that was probably the last time I got them in that regards. However, when I did come down with Crohn's colitis back in 2008, I believe now, I was diagnosed with that. My doctor absolutely insisted that I get the MMR again, because when he actually had done my, when he had done some blood tests, he had realized that I wasn't immune to measles, which again, I think is complete bull in so many instances, but I don't want to get into that. I'd rather just give you guys the information that I've gathered over the years, because it did take me a long time to put this together. And the reason why I thought it necessary to do this now is that we just came out of Lyme Disease Awareness Month, and the one thing that I've noticed that is kind of circulating large social media group sites and all that right now is the fact that they are currently working on, I know that it was just released, I would have to look that up, or I'll post it on the screen. I know they just released the Lyme vaccination. They had a Lyme vaccination back, I believe, in the 80s or 90s that was called LymeRx. Some people were actually getting the getting LymeRx and actually coming down with Lyme-like symptoms, which is why it was pulled from the market. And from what I've read, this new vaccination that's currently coming out is very similar to that. It's just basically that they've remarketed it and put a new name on it, and they're trying to put it back into the market. The reason why I've decided to put this vaccine video out is because I find it very amusing that anybody would even consider taking this vaccination for Lyme disease. Because number one, as I've mentioned to many of you before, it took Kevin and I over 4 to 6 years, and many more years than that, to even find a doctor that would even deal with us in regards to our Lyme disease. It took us just 4 to 6 years just to get a proper diagnosis of it. We had to pay for that out of pocket. It was about, I think for both of us, about $600 and $600 Canadian, $600 or $700 Canadian, $400 to $500 US dollars, because we had to send our bloods over to IGeneX in the States in order to get our test for Lyme disease. So I just find it amusing that doctors are now pushing this for this Lyme vaccination in Canada as a preventative, but yet many of them don't even know how to test people properly for it. And on the flip side, many of them don't even believe that Lyme disease is a chronic issue. They believe that if you do end up getting infected with Lyme disease, it's an acute issue. And with 10, in most cases, people, I'm finding out that there was just a kid that got bitten by a tick and went over to the Hamilton Hospital, and they only gave, and he actually presented with a bullseye rash, which clearly indicates Lyme disease, and they only gave him 10 days of antibiotics. In most cases, some doctors will give you up to 30 days, but beyond that, they say that if you take the 30 days, you're cured of Lyme disease, which any of us struggling with Lyme disease know that that is completely false, because not that Kevin and I did do the antibiotics. That's because it took us almost, like I said before, 4 years to get a diagnosis. So at that point, the antibiotics wouldn't have been very helpful for us, because most of the Lyme had made its way probably out of our blood and into soft tissue, and as well as our organs. So we decided to take the natural route. A lot of people do, 3 to 6 months of antibiotics to start off with, and then a lot of people, if that doesn't work, they'll go into something stronger, like getting a PICC line put into their body to take intravenous antibiotics. And by all means, if that's what you've decided to do, then that's what you've decided to do. Kevin and I just decided, in our experience, to take a different route, and for the most part it's really worked for us. The reason why I did want to get this vaccine video out is because of the fact that they're releasing this Lyme vaccination. And again, it doesn't talk about the Lyme vaccination, and I really wish I had known about it back then when I did this video over 2 years ago, but I actually didn't even know that there was a Lyme vaccination back in the 90s. I've just done most of my research on it recently, so it doesn't include that, but it does bring up some valid points as to why Kevin and I have decided to no longer take any types of vaccinations, or if we were to ever have children, why we would also ensure that they weren't being vaccinated. So again, this is not a platform this is definitely a platform where you can voice your own opinions on the matter, but this is not a platform where we're going to tolerate people bashing us or bashing any of our viewers on the decision to not vaccinate themselves or their children. So if I see any of that in the comments below, I will delete them. Again, I'm not about censoring people, but I am also not about dealing with BS on stuff either, especially if you haven't put the time in, or the taken the time to research these things, and if you've just gone on reiterating what your doctor has told you, then I don't really want to hear it. So again, if you're interested, do stay tuned. If not, I would strongly suggest, if this is a subject that's probably going to peeve you off, then I would click away and not watch the next 40 minutes of this video. I probably will break this up into 2 videos, because I don't think there are many people, 2 or 3 videos, I don't think there are many people that will sit through like an hour worth of vaccine information. But if you are interested, please do stay tuned. Again, I just want to make note of the fact that most of the pictures and most of the charts and all that and the information that I have in this video are not my own original work. I don't take credit for any of them. I will probably never monetize this video either, because I don't intend, I'm just putting this information out there just because I collected just because I spent so much time collecting this information, I don't look to make any profit off of it either. So I will try to include as much links in the description below, but that is also a space that's limited, so I can't always include all the information that I've included in my videos. And of course, if I have things that are rerouted off to studies, or if I have things that are rerouted off to other YouTube videos, I'll try to give them credit in the description below, or actually on the video itself. So it may take me just even a couple days just to add all that information in there. So again, if you're interested, stay tuned, and if you're not, then I'll see you on the next video. Thanks.